Living and breathing now as per user specification. From horsehair orange beam hammer pen style vinyl. It's coral reefed thrash headrest folded up neat and tidy. Columbine Threefold.
Hi guys. Thanks, guys. Guys. Whew. So good to see everyone here again. Man, it's been a week, all right, hasn't it? It's been a week, huh? A lot of distraction for me this week. Like a lot. You ever feel like you're not even sure like what you're doing? Like not in life, but just in that moment, like period, like second to second. Well, hours a day in that kind of, headspace lately, folks. And it's not the funnest thing in the world, but it's good to be honest about it at least. And kind of the worst part of all is that it was starting to like affect my planning for the stream this week. So I was racking my brain, for a theme, checking my phone constantly, checking my followers and all their content on my phone. Of course, all y'all's content. Shout out. It was just sort of flooding my consciousness. If you can imagine like water flowing down my face, through my brain, out my ears, just flooding my whole consciousness. And, suddenly, I felt sort of oppressed by it. I felt angry. I felt feelings like resentment and rage. But suddenly I realized, rather than see it as a distraction or as a threat, maybe I should see it as the inspiration, for this week's theme. And that's when it hit me. Quick question, guys. What do you think was enabling this whole situation of sort of feeling like my mind was just being carried down this flow of content and thoughts that made me hard for me to focus? What was driving it? A screen. And literally the physical display, that I'm looking at and you're looking at, that was the one and only thing that was sort of guiding my consciousness through this trail of content. And that was then forming my thoughts, which started to look a lot like the content, like a beautiful collage of just about everything that you could imagine on Earth. How about it? I mean, so to see the beauty in that instead of, the negative. And I mean, we're blessed, I think, by this little piece of tech right here, this screen. And so I just want to take a moment to say thank you and to shout out, for something, an amazing thing, an interesting thing, like a really interesting thing, and it has, of course, like anything, its pros and its cons, but to flip that attitude, anyway, with the theme in hand of screens, I tried to get a sponsorship, for this week from Samsung, the makers of those awesome Retina displays that, you and I and all of us spend so much time interacting with and using. Unfortunately, I didn't hear back from Chatbot Chip at Samsung in time for this week's stream to really lock in that liaison agreement with them. I heard on Saturday, but it was too late by then. So maybe next week. I don't know. I've got a lot of other offers, to be honest. So it really just depends, again, on the moving pieces, whether or not we'll partner with Samsung next week. Anyway, so backtrack to like Wednesday. I'm really sweating to find my partnership for this week. Again, racking my brain. Screens. I mean, I gave up, and I just did a quick Google search for top screen companies. And would you believe it? What came up is something I literally never would have thought of. And that just so happened to lead to my partnership. But before we get there, I just want to talk a minute. There's just so many types of screens, in this world. And I'm only now realizing it. I never knew until now how many uses there are for this word screen. It's a flexible and multi-use word. And I think it's a really amazing example of how, versatile a word can be and how versatile it can become over time. So that's kind of why I've put together a little list of all the things a screen can be. And this is based off of the Merriam-Webster definition of the word screen, which you think would be a simple thing to go through. But actually, this is pretty lengthy, just the definition of the word screen. So here are some of the ways a screen can be a noun. So number one, it could be a protective or an ornamental device, such as a movable partition, shielding an area from heat or drafts or from view. Another thing a screen can be something that shelters, protects, or hides, such as a growth of or stand of trees, shrubs, or plants, a protective formation of troops, ships, or planes, or something that covers or disguises the true nature of an activity or feeling. And that's getting deep right there. So a screen can be an emotional tactic as well. For example, the sentence they give is, his geniality is a screen. How about it? It's really interesting. So next category, and this is sort of like objects that a screen can be. It can be a perforated plate or cylinder or a meshed wire or cloth fabric, usually mounted and used to separate coarser from finer parts. So you imagine the panning for gold with a screen. Or if we're not talking about gold, it could be a system for examining and separating into different groups. And this isn't limited, to physical objects. It could be demographics, people, great tools for marketing and for identifying targets for your content. So screens come into play even as we make the content to display on the screen. Another thing a screen can be a piece or a piece of apparatus designed to prevent agencies in one part from affecting other parts. So this could be within an organization. If, say, you don't want people in one part to know what another part is doing, you just slap a screen in there. Another one, a frame holding a usually metallic netting used especially in a window or door to exclude pests. And so I think we've all heard of a screen door before. That keeps the pests out. And now here's probably the most common one. A flat surface on which a picture or series of pictures is projected or reflected. So we all know that type of screen. We're using it right now. It could be, and again, and similarly, the surface on which an image appears in an electronic display, TV set, radar receiver, or computer terminal. For any art buffs out there, it could be a glass plate ruled with crossing opaque lines through which an object is photographed in making a halftone. So that's another technique you can use a screen for. Here's one of my personal favorites in the motion picture industry as a medium, the screen. And that opens a whole additional world of screens, like this word. What kind of word even is this? Is this like an ancient alien word? Or, just, like the number pi is screen, maybe something transcendent in our universe. It's like, how can one word mean so much? There's something to it. And I don't know. I think there's a mystery to it here, or something's going on maybe. It's like one of those words like love, like screen, love. It's like, we can't even wrap our heads around how big these words are because they're big, big words. And that was just the nouns, guys. I'm going to try to, speed through the verbs because a lot of these are redundant, but ways of using screen, screened, or screening can be to guard from injury or danger, give shelter or protection to, with, or as with a screen, separate with, or as if with a screen, pass something like coal, gravel, or ashes through a screen to separate the fine part from the coarse part. And, this just gets deeper and deeper. We still have so much. And, I don't want to bore you guys. Here's a perfect example of a verb. To test or examine for the presence of something such as a disease. yet again, the relevancies just keep popping up with this word screen. Let's see. To view the presentation of something is to screen. So guess what, guys? You are screening on your screen. And here's the part where your mind's going to get blown. To present something, such as a motion picture, for viewing on a screen is to screen that. So actually, I'm screening this to you while you screen it on your screen. And I'm using my screen to do my screening. So like... It's just so amazing. Anyway, I'm just going to jump ahead because I don't want to bog you guys down in all this. My mind's been blown by this whole, exploration of this word and all the meanings that it has. But I'm sure everybody's wondering what kind of screen our sponsors involved with, right? Well, rather than spoil that surprise, I want to let today's sponsor, Kane Innovations, do the talking.
Back in 1890, the year Kane was founded, wood screen doors, wood windows and Venetian blinds were our primary products. Our architectural offering, though small, was so well known in our city of origin, that the locals dropped our name entirely, affectionately referring to us only as the Slam and Bang Company. A nod to the sound Kane's screen doors would make on nearby homes and businesses. Fast forward to 1959. Two old college friends from St. Louis Washington University, Richard Singer and Marvin Goldman, joined forces to purchase Kane and begin the production of security window screens for psychiatric wards and public housing facilities. Nearly 20 years later, another landmark is reached, this time in the detention industry, when Kane creates an entirely new type of cell front for Leavenworth Penitentiary in 1978. Kane's patented Vantage Wall barrier transforms the criminal justice sector forever, thereby eliminating the traditional jail bar cell fronts, and the Kane Detention brand was born. In 1988, Kane Holding Company, our current ownership group, purchased the corporation from Singer and Goldman. 3 more acquisitions followed between 1992 and 2002. 2 screens companies and a well-known railing manufacturer, Sterling Jula, founded in 1911. Over the years, we've strived to carry on the tradition of well-made products that keep people safe. We call ourselves the guardians of safe environments, because that's who we are. We, and our products, are the protectors of people. We're the innovators and creators of architectural products that support and assist the human race within all types of environments. Although we are far from the 19th century in terms of technology and methodology, we're proud of our roots. We're back. Patented Vantage Wall barrier jail bar cell fronts. Patented jail bars that support and assist the human race. Time in the detention industry. Jail bars industry are the protectors of people, because that's who we are.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, it's just kind of crazy to hear about the history of a company that's old, that's that old, 1890. Like, can you imagine what a different world it must have been back then? Well, you could say this week I'm going back to my roots in a way with this week's interview because I've got an old buddy on the line. Zach Spellman and I actually graduated from the same high school, would you believe it, in the quiet little town of Shiremanstown, PA. We weren't that tight in high school, but we ended up reconnecting in the music scene around Harrisburg about 10 or so years ago. We've lived under the same roof. We've played in more than one band together and plenty of bills and stages shared over the years. He moved to New Orleans a few years back, as some of you guys may know, and I'd say he's been greatly missed. So this is a real treat for me, and I'm sure for a lot of the folks out there listening who remember some of the the shows that we did together and the other stuff. So Zach was going to join us on Instagram here, so I'm ready whenever he is. If he's in the audience, I thought I saw him. You there, Zach? Can I add you? Zach, add. We're currently waiting.
I'm here.
Now we're connected.
Hello.
Oh, we got an issue. And this is
Hello.
this is going to require I forgot about this. I have to take my audio cable out basically because I can't hear you, but you can hear me. So,
Oh, we didn't work out all
can
the
you hear me
kinks.
now?
Yes, sir. I could hear you
Rocking.
both times.
Well, you could hear me, but the thing is I couldn't hear you because of
Oh, right.
some details with the way the audio gets in. So, how
Yeah,
you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. It's warm, as you can tell, but just ate
Yeah,
some dinner.
nice, nice. Um, how's New Orleans these days?
It's fine. It's weird,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
everywhere
yeah,
else, but it's getting warm, but the weather's nice, and
right.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel. Are you working right now? Are you pretty
I
busy
am
or?
working. Well, I'm like super part-time, so I just work the weekends at Doorman. And
Hmm.
then I've been just finding gigs and just keeping myself busy otherwise.
Yeah, I feel.
And
So,
yeah,
I
just
want to
making
talk about
stuff.
your new record,
Yeah.
if you don't mind talking about it. Have you released like the name of it? Is that like a thing yet, or
It's gonna be called Head Bang Away.
Headbang Away?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Headbang Away has I think 21 tracks. Um,
Yeah.
and I gave it a chance to listen. I had a chance to listen to it on a secret demo page, and there was so much going on. I want to ask a lot of questions, but I probably won't have time. So
Okay.
the the first question about just the album is: were those songs all written in a similar time frame?
Um, a good portion of them were kind of clumped in the same worlds, but they're kind of cherry picked from all over the place as well. So it's just kind
Okay.
of a collection that I presented, and Uh, I think I brought like 24, 25 songs to the table, and
Hmm.
usually we pare it down a little more, but we kept 21 of them.
It was like an indulgence.
Yeah, it just seemed to make sense
Gotcha.
to keep
Um,
them all.
so I liked the intro and I'm sorry, the intro and verses. The intro and then the first verse. I'm remembering what I was writing in my notes. That track two, collage, like all the percussion stuff.
Oh, yeah.
College. Sorry.
Yeah.
What were you listening to when you wrote that?
Um, I was listening to the news when I wrote that. That was during the, like, Brett Kavanaugh hearings and all that.
Uh,
But that
gotcha.
got a lot more exciting when we re-recorded it, and all that percussion is not me. That's all the Belly Boys. That's Craig and Matt Lashitsky.
Oh, I got you. I got you. So that was like they basically wrote that part.
Yeah, yeah. We arranged it together of like how long it's gonna be, and
Hmm.
when it comes in from the original demo, it's arranged differently.
Hmm.
But yeah, they arranged all that percussion that happens at the beginning.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
super into that. Moving to track four, My Body. When it says in the lyrics, "Call the doctor, tell me everything you think you know about my body." What is that about?
That's about when I broke my arm. When Steven was down here, we were racing bikes over the bridge. One
I
of the
think we
only what's up?
I think we rode in the section where you hurt yourself when we were down
Yeah, I
there
probably
earlier
pointed
too.
it out. But yeah, we were
Okay.
racing over like one of the only hills in town, and I was riding a Walmart bike with like bald wheels, and I slipped in the grass and caught it myself on my left arm and broke it.
Yeah.
And I went to the hospital the next day, and he was like, "You got to get surgery and all this," and I was like, "Oh my god," because my healthcare was still up in Pennsylvania. So like a
Oh.
couple weeks later, I come up to Pennsylvania with a bum arm and go to the doctor to figure it out. And he's like, "Oh no, you're good. Like it'll heal on its own." And I was like, "Oh, great. I don't want to get surgery." And then it was like 3 or 4 months later, and it still doesn't go like quite straight. And I was like, "Hey, Mr. Doctor, like what do I do now?" And they're like, "Oh, you're fine." And so that was me just being frustrated with, you know, having a
The
bum arm.
victories of yeah, the
Yeah,
victories of our healthcare system.
yeah, that was kind of
Yeah,
what that was inspired by, I guess.
gotcha. So the track called Flat Tire, that one was really awesome to me.
Uh-huh.
Um, I was wondering, was that like Guided by Voices influenced? Was that one had that jangle element? I was
Mm.
pretty stoked on that.
Yeah, everything. Um, until recently, I didn't really intentionally listen to Guided by Voices, and have gotten
Yeah.
super obsessed. But at the
Hmm.
time, maybe peripherally, like I was affected
Gotcha.
by that sound, but not intentionally.
It was just a. Did you write that one, the guitar parts, or was that Matt or?
I think I wrote most of the guitar parts. Matt's got licks all over the place. He probably did a couple
Right.
things on there.
I gotcha. I gotcha. The other one that was awesome. What was it called? Oh, Wig Flip.
Yeah,
That was yeah, that was awesome.
yeah,
Was that Matt's vocals?
yes.
Okay.
And Craig, and I think Matt Lashinsky's in there too. Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's one that I brought the music to, but didn't have any vocal ideas, and basically just put it on the boys to figure it out, and
I gotcha.
they did an amazing job. And it's like one of my favorite songs on the album now.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like REM and
That was the goal. Yeah.
do you know that band The Laws? They do the original There
They
She Goes.
played at Makespace, right?
Oh no no no, they're
Oh
old.
no.
They do the original.
Oh, I'm thinking of
There
Lalou.
she goes. You know what I'm saying?
No, say it again.
There she goes
Oh.
again. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, those guys are good. The L.A. The Laws. I
I
think
never
they're
knew the name.
British. But there was like harmonies in that song. I was wondering if somebody liked that band.
Mm,
Um,
I like that song.
yeah, it's a classic. All the versions, even Sixpence None the Richer version.
Oh, that's the one I know.
Yeah, that's the one
I used
everyone
to
knows.
play that in youth group.
That's oh, in youth group, sure.
Yeah.
That's the one they play at like Office Max and stuff.
Yeah. It's a wholesome version.
It's a wholesome department store slash Rite Aid song.
Yeah.
So one more question about the album.
Yeah.
The track title that I was immediately drawn to was Maker's Marketing Scheme. So I kind of thought that would be awesome, just by the title. And
Yeah.
the lyrics did support that suspicion. But I was curious what inspired it.
Um, I was just sitting in my shed, just kind of staring at the wall. Uh, and that little phrase popped into my head, and I thought it was super funny, so I held on to it, and then was working on a
Right.
song, and it was a phrase I was working with, and it just worked pretty easily, so I went with it.
Gotcha. So now I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna pivot to questions more about you as a musician.
Okay.
So pivoting. Um, and this deals with some specific memories from my life. So I remember shooting a video actually in high school in the metalcore band you played in at the time in high school.
Yeah.
I forget what you were called.
It was probably called A Moment's Rest at that time.
A Moment's Rest. That's right.
Yeah.
So I was curious if you would say playing drums in a band like that has informed the way you write songs today.
Um, Probably at times, actually.
Yeah.
Um, there was a phase where I was always starting songs with drums,
Hmm.
and it was leaning towards like heavier, noisier music.
Right.
Um, and so yeah, playing in that band was the first time I like wrote drum parts, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
figured out how to work structures and why to go back to that rhythm or move on or
Right.
do a variation. So yeah, it totally informed me. It was some
Yeah.
garbage, but it was fun.
Um, yeah, I really want to find the footage of that. I think it might
Oh,
still
please
exist.
do.
I think
Yeah.
I have it like
I,
on some mini DV tape or something.
yeah, I think I
Some,
was like probably like 15. It'd be really fun to see.
yeah. I think I was a
Yeah.
senior, so you were probably a sophomore.
How old are you?
Wait, I
How,
graduated
how,
in '06.
oh, okay. Yeah, we're 2 years apart. Yeah, we're 2 or 3 years
Yeah,
apart.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Um,
So yeah, 15, 16.
these days, do you do more drumming or guitar?
Guitar. Um,
More guitar.
which is, yeah, told. I have a place to play my drums that's like really nice, and it's in the same warehouse that I have my workshop. So I
Hmm.
have no excuse, and I want to be playing drums more because it's more. I can be more, use more expression more easily, and it's
Right.
I just like the sounds more that I can make on it than I can on guitar. But
Yeah.
I play guitar more often because of ease and loudness, and it's in my room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't have drums at the house?
just a drum machine.
I got you. Yeah. Are there any collaborations you're working on right now in New Orleans? Are there any projects?
As far as playing in bands or anything, not really. But me and my friend
Just
Jeremy,
anything.
yeah, me and my friend Jeremy did. He has a band called Self and Other, and
Okay.
I did drums on an album he put out almost a year ago, probably by now. But that space in the warehouse is he has a studio there, so
Okay.
we we play sometimes. It's been months since we have, but we always share what we're working on and stuff. But no collaborations really right now in New Orleans.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But, but you guys are pretty much close to finishing the Belly Boys one?
Oh yeah,
Is that
it's
a thing?
pretty much
It's like,
all but done. Like minor edits and like a little bit of mastering, and then figuring out what to do. Haven't really decided yet.
right.
Yeah.
Do you send it out for mastering? Like, does Matt do mastering or?
No, Matt's always done mastering so far, um, but
Mm.
I want to put it on two 10-inch albums. So I don't know how that affects the process. Like if it's better to get it mastered in one way or the other. To
It's a vinyl master. It's different
yeah,
than digital yet. Yeah.
right. So I got to figure out that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm super pleased with the sound we got. So as far as like
Yeah.
CDs and tapes and the internet's concerned, I'm sure Matt will do it. But otherwise, we'll figure out this final thing.
Yeah. If you
We'll,
need, there's a guy in Baltimore that did the Ewer record. If you want, I
not
was in touch
Josh.
with him briefly.
Was it Josh Dean?
No, his name was Matt, but
Oh,
he had a studio called Mobtown, and
okay.
I don't remember how he got recommended, but he did the master for vinyl, so I think he's probably an expert at that at this point.
Okay. Well, yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know if
your
he's
sounded amazing, so I would trust it.
yeah, I don't know how cheap he is, but I'm
Yeah.
sure he would probably be into it.
Word.
Because I think he still runs that studio.
Yeah.
Uh, so your Bandcamp profile, we're going to talk about that. Um,
Sure.
so I feel like it's sort of been known in the past and to people as sort of like a curiosity because of the fact that well right now there's 37 albums on it.
Yeah.
Um, so how would you say your prolific approach to releasing music has affected your songwriting?
Um, well, I used to be like when I moved in with you and Steven and Jake and Robert. Um, I was so blown away by how much you guys worked on art that at that point I was like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna make and finish songs every week. Um,
right.
and
We weren't
then
doing that.
oh no, I know, but like it was just like an atmosphere where everybody was always like either
Yeah,
talking about something creative or working on something creative. And it was just
yeah,
like the environment catered to it. So
right.
anytime I'm in that kind of a situation, I'm super prolific.
Yeah,
But, you know, like right now, well, I'm not working as much currently, but I'm working on this wood shop and stuff. So it's more on the side, whereas like
hmm
any spare moment, it used to be like, let's go make some noise and
right.
record it. Yeah.
Do you ever delete anything on Bandcamp, or is it all like just raw?
I
Have you
don't
ever
think I've
deleted anything?
You're right. I don't think I have. maybe I've realized something was kind of fucked up that I wrote when I was like 15 or 16, and I've deleted that. But
Really?
I can't even actually think of anything. But that's the reason I would delete something, is if like, it was wrong. You know.
If it's just like wrong,
Yeah, just like
just
you
like
know,
a offense to nature or something.
offensive. Yeah, just like, or just
It's offensive.
anything
Okay.
shitty, but
Right.
not in like quality. Um, yeah,
So
I like to have.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
Oh,
you
do
go
you
ahead.
think your old music is like do you love your old music the way you love your
Oh
new
yeah,
music?
yeah,
You'd
for
say
sure. No, I
that's
mean the
cool.
new stuff is always what I'm super obsessed with. But
Right.
whenever I'm feeling nostalgic, or it's like looking at old pictures, it just kind of takes you back
Right.
and to a different mindset or to a different feeling. So that's how I use that
Yeah.
stuff. Um, I listen to my old stuff all the time.
Yeah. I watch these freaking streams all the time. I actually have to tell myself to stop
Yeah.
because like that's the this is probably these are the first time I felt like, oh yeah, like I'm probably definitely my biggest fan of this freaking
Oh
crap.
yeah, you gotta be. You
Like
gotta be. If you want to get better, you gotta watch it, listen to it all the
yeah,
time. You know what I mean? And
I
constantly
really
critique and say that was really good. And like,
yeah.
I've always felt a little weird about that, like being my biggest fan, because it feels like you have a big ego. But at the same time, don't you make what you make for your own ears usually? Like,
It's
you make what you want to hear or what you want to see, kind of in a way.
I think it's healthy to like the line and then there's the line of like obsession and then that's like basically navel gazing. But it's like walking that line of like
Yeah. No.
healthy growth and it's I haven't really figured anything out about that, but
Yeah.
I suspect that that's kind of it's one of those lines.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
Prince was on like Ellen DeGeneres or some talk show, and they asked him um, what he's been listening to or something like that, and he
Dude.
said, "My own music, like me,
Yeah.
nothing else." I'm not that way,
He made a
totally.
point of
At
that though.
times I can be. What?
He bragged about that.
Oh,
He's
that
like,
was
I
I
only
didn't
listen
know
to
that.
my own music. I don't have time for other people's music.
Oh wow.
But
I wouldn't take it
I've
that
heard a
far
lot of
personally.
artists say that. Yeah, it's a whole. It's like a mirror room at a certain point.
Yeah.
I feel like your ego.
Right. So you got to be careful.
um,
It's dangerous territory.
yeah, it's very very hot water. Uh, let's see where we are. Okay, from what I can tell, a lot of your songs are written in solitude. Would
Yeah.
you say that's true? Okay.
Totally. I prefer to be absolutely alone in the house. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I like to be completely alone when I make music. Oh,
Do you
well,
like
other than
working alone
friends.
or working collaboratively, or would you say that like you
And just like
compartmentalize those?
working life or music, because it's both.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
as
I
a
prefer to work alone, always in anything. Mostly, unless
alone.
it's like, yeah, but there, there's always exceptions to that. Like working with the Belly Boys is so much more exciting than working alone.
Yeah.
Or somebody that you work really well with and you make each other better, of course. But that's like,
Hmm.
it feels like that's usually more special than like a day-to-day thing. So like day to day I want
Right.
to work alone, but then there's always those relationships with that have like an understanding, and you can just work
Yeah.
without worry, I guess.
Yeah. I relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really struggle working with people, actually. So, um,
Yeah.
so now I wanted to talk about the units. Um,
Oh yeah.
as far as I know, you were one of the first, like the early practitioners of the units. That's a storage facility.
No, so
It's a
the
pause due to connection. You can hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. It just
Oh,
glitched
cool.
for a second.
Yeah, that
So
was like a storage thing in Mechanicsburg, where a lot of local bands and musicians still practice. What was your first experience with the units?
my first experience was through Zach Brady,
Okay.
who him and his friends had that space for probably at least 2 or 3 years before me,
Damn.
before I was even a part of it.
Yeah.
And I think they inherited that space from some other band, kind of deal.
Oh wow.
That whole deal has been going
Yeah.
on since probably like the early 2000s, maybe 90s. I don't know. Mike D's
Okay.
the pro on that. He's been there. Mike D's been there forever. But yeah, I was there for a long time.
Okay.
And that was a huge part of my life in Pennsylvania was the units. Yeah.
Yeah. And still a big part of
it was
Craig's
just the
life, I think. Right?
Yeah. Craig
Craig from Valley Boys, yeah.
Last time
I talked
to
to him.
Yeah. Last time you talked to him, he's still going out there?
Oh, yeah. That's all I was saying.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
On the regular.
I know when this first saw. Good. Yeah, it's just a space you can do whatever you want in. And then sometimes there's some other interesting people, or there's always some sort of weird noise going on. Yeah, it's the best. I spent a lot of time there. That's where, like, probably, I don't know, 50 to 60, 70% of those songs on Bandcamp are recorded, other than bedrooms at the units. So,
right.
And, like, countless bands and just jams or whatever.
Right. So last question. I know you, like myself, grew up in Harrisburg area. So what do you miss most about it?
Oh, all you guys. I miss the people, the community.
Right.
Harrisburg itself is okay, but just the relationships, really. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of something like a thing or a place or I don't know. The river's cool.
Yeah. You have a river too.
Yeah, we have
what about
big old... What?
What about Susquehanna versus Mississippi?
I like Susquehanna better. Well, actually, that's hard. Ooh, I don't know. I should take that back. I like them both well. But the Mississippi's like this grand, bustling, industrious thing in the city, which is really great to look at. But I feel like you could get closer to the Susquehanna, and it was more of a calming. I mean, the Mississippi's calming too, but the Susquehanna was just smaller and just not as overwhelming.
Yeah. When I was down there, I went and like stood by the river, and there was some sort of refinery or something like over on the other side.
Yeah.
So it had like a really industrial kind of and like the area where I was at just had like some military base or something. It was right by your house. And
Oh,
so, like,
yeah. That's
it's like access wasn't. Yeah. It just felt like access wasn't really like granted even within the city to it unless you were in like a tourist area.
Oh, I didn't take you guys down the Shell Beach. I don't think I did then. Oh, you would have remembered it. It's like
we didn't make it.
A perfect little sneaky spot, and it's right by the Army Corps of Engineers, and it's like a little just like hangout spot with like a fire pit, like some hobos kind of sleep around in that area, but it's great. It's so beautiful. It's just like this little piece of beach hidden away.
That's for next time.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully, maybe next January.
Whenever we're able.
Even that's like seems optimistic, but whatever. Well, stay safe, and it was really good to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming on. Have a good rest of the night.
You too.
Whew. So now we got to do, can you hear me now? Good. So if somebody can good me when they hear me now, that is very much appreciated because I'm reestablishing God level audio. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? No? Buzzing noise is unacceptable. This can't be. Can you hear me? Mal. Buzzing gone. Yeah, my little dongle to allow my computer's audio to go into my phone's audio. Not the best dongle on the market, but you know, the price was right. So guys, we've got another spot from Kane. They're gonna go into a little detail. Oh, still buzz? Well, that's not cool. Still buzz. Buzz. Buzz, can't have that.
Whoopsie. Let's try again. Let's try again. You just say when and we'll try again.
Kane's got another spot. Kane's going to tell us just a little bit about their product offerings. Going to move through the categories. Going to get us up real to date on this industry that they're breaking ground in. You know, taking names and being fucking shitty, evil jail builders.
Kane Detention's mission has always been clear: meet or exceed the standards required by law enforcement and government organizations to help maintain order in challenging environments. In the late 1970s, we revolutionized and re-established the standard in prison safety products with the installation of never-before-seen woven rod cell fronts at Leavenworth Penitentiary. Since that landmark endeavor, the Kane Detention brand has been entrusted with thousands of installations by the criminal justice community to contain inmates and keep corrections personnel safe with barrier walls, ceilings, cell front doors and tamper-proof equipment. National security offices, jails, courthouses and other institutions that demand the highest levels of protection rely on Kane's unmatched reputation and performance record for safer criminal justice environments.
Our products include medium security barriers installed within the confines of a correctional facility to provide division in key areas. They also offer security from escape through overhead fixtures. Kane Detention's 12-gauge steel Vantage partition barrier offers superior performance over minimum security products such as tool crib or chain link. The Vantage partition is ideal for non-corrosive environments such as overhead recreation decks, corridor partitions, day rooms, sally ports and Kane Detention's corrosion-resistant 13-gauge stainless steel Vantage partition barrier can be found in showers, kitchens, or in other areas exposed to an abundance of moist air or water. Maximum security barriers are considered strong enough to operate as the only physical barrier that separates inmates from the outside world. These barriers are also known as prime perimeter security barriers. Our 12-gauge steel Vantage wall barrier is recognized nationwide as the standard in prison protection. Stackable and self-supporting, the Vantage wall offers maximum security escape prevention for prisons, jails and detention centers. Kane Detention's corrosion-resistant 13-gauge stainless steel Vantage wall barrier consists of heavy-duty, woven rod infill to meet and exceed maximum security requirements. Like the 12-gauge steel model, the stainless steel Vantage wall is extremely versatile, offering a wide range of secure view glazed barrier. A thick layer of polycarbonate glazing makes Kane Innovation's maximum security barrier even more secure, supporting the blockage of unwanted material through open areas. Transparency and sound deadening properties are byproducts of this additional overlay, resulting in an all-in-one security. Kane Innovation's 12-gauge mezzanine Vantage wall barrier, available through the Kane Detention brand, offers maximum security protection in elevated areas inside prisons, jails and other criminal justice institutions. This product is primarily used to prevent falls and suicide attempts.
Oh, guys, this really isn't the sort of thing I like to dwell on. You know, we all got to pay our bills, though. My partnership with Kane is really helping me right now, you know, with a few unexpected expenses. It really can be a tough world. You know, it's a tough world and a dangerous world, I guess. And all I can say is, you know, it's important to be prepared security-wise. And, you know, I mean, I don't think these screens are just for jails. I'm sure like they could be useful for securing valuables, or securing your research, or maybe keeping delicate machinery or infrastructure separated from people who could be hurt by it, or accidentally do some damage. So I think it's important to remember that. And yeah, I want to say sorry if the content was a little upsetting today, and I totally understand that feeling. Anyway, so for this week's track, gonna play a little song now. I've got just a short little guy that I used to perform at shows a lot, and it's sort of about the definition of a screen that I'm sure we're all familiar with. It's called distraction.
Distraction, I'll look to you to cover me. Are you on? If you want to bid on distraction, I look to you to cover me. If you want to bid on distraction, I'll look to you to cover me. Are you on one? Are you almost just like a little song poem.
Not so long and drawn out of a song, just it's a little poem. So it's that time again, and I want you guys to listen up and listen up good. This is the part that we call the call to action, because it's really the part of the show where you, the viewer, gets your big moment, and that's your big moment to be part of the show. So each of these action items implies a sort of reaction or duty, or I mean maybe even obligation, depending on your take. I don't know the psychology of all this stuff, but it is really interesting stuff, and I've only really scratched the surface in it with my smear research. They call it the Smear Studies program that I'm in. That's out of Montreal. But yeah, the action part of the call to action is basically like where I've passed the ball to you, passed it, and now you're holding the ball, and the whole audience is screaming, like, dunk that ball. They're ready for you to dunk it. They don't have season tickets. They're not going home without a show, guys. So that's the situation we're in. And you can hear them. Listen to them. Listen to them cheer. You're holding the ball, and they're waiting for you to dunk it. We're not going home without a show. So yeah, by responding to this call and taking action, you're sort of dunking that ball. And when you do, imagine it this way. They're screaming. And there's pieces of flame exploding out of the hoops like NBA Jam as you dunk that ball, respond to the call. Those flames, they say lit. They say lit, lit. Wow. LOL lit, and there's hearts and smiles and winks, and they're all exploding out from the flames of the hoop that you just dunked by responding to the call to action. So yeah, maybe you've never experienced this feeling before, and I don't know that much about it either. It's just the books I've read have told me a lot about it, and that's why I wanted to share it with you and give you a little more information about what the call to action really is. It's sort of like a dance. And so without further ado, may I have this dance?
Now get ready. Here we go.
Action item number 1, email beats@calabi3fold.com. Your questions, comments, criticisms, suggestions will appear on the show. Still seeking performance guests and collaborators. Action item number 2, go to calabi3fold.com/Instagram and follow @calabi.3fold or looking up on the app. Action item number 3, go to calabi3fold.com/YouTube and follow @calabi.3fold or looking up on the app. Action item number 4, watch live performances weeknights at 10 p.m. or afterwards until I delete them. Maybe will pop up this coming week, so check that out. Action item number 5, check out the new IGTV tab in Instagram. I'll be posting shorter format videos there, so look for things in the 1 to 5 minute range in the IGTV tab. Action item number 6, and finally, in early 21st century American society, money is seen as a way of imparting and expressing a sense of value to a good or service. More than any other tool, expression, or means of communication today, it expresses the statement, I value, I support, I care. So, if you find anything I say or do entertaining, inspiring, or meaningful, you can give me money to express that. If you do that, go to calabi3fold.com/money and give me money on Venmo, or look up Calabi Threefold, no dot, on the Venmo or PayPal app. So, outro music for today is from the band Homeless Gospel Choir. So the connection here is Matt from last week's episode actually plays guitar in this band. Matt Miller, the one and only Matt Miller, plays guitar in the Homeless Gospel Choir. And actually Zach, who's one of the members from last week's outro music, Various Viruses, actually directed a video for Homeless Gospel Choir recently. So we're sort of closing the loop here by featuring this song. The track we're going to hear is called Social Real Estate. It's from an album released exactly a month ago on AF Records out of Pittsburgh. So check out the album on thehomelessgospelchoir.bandcamp.com. Thehomelessgospelchoir.bandcamp.com. And you can check out the AF catalog at a-frecords.bandcamp.com. So Derek, the singer and songwriter from HGC, is also hosting a lot of shows here on Instagram, including a weekly, I think it's a 3 p.m. show every Friday. The handle for that is at THG Choir, for basically shows on Instagram once a week. And I think there's even more than one show. There's just a lot of it. So, yeah, these are a lot of fun. I've been to a few of the shows, and I would recommend them after having been to them. The chats are fun. I always love me a good, lively, chaotic chat. It's one of my favorite things on the internet. And that's it, people. But remember, Precious Pokey Feelgood needs strokes, foot the hood, cover balm. Cover balm. Don't it just feel all right? Yup. Decent? Yeah.
Acid rains, our buildings are crumbling, pipes are bursting underground. Mr. Fix-It never visits to offer grace or pull about all the words that triggers use to make you squirm and feel abused, and smile and laugh and act so friendly behind their bullshit Twitter feeds. Jesus save me from the Christian's money changers, den of thieves, casting stones from stained glass castles. Give me something to believe. I needed something to distract me, so I smashed my telephone. I trouble about what you'll think of me, but I can't let the devil in. 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 I can't let the
Na, 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 na. My cover. Da, na, 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 na. I like that song because it sounds like a hymn. I really wanted to write twisted hymns, but also jazz standards. I want to do a cover of Surrey with the Fringe on Top from Oklahoma because it's like the original car song. It's the original 1950s Cruising with Your Honey. Surrey with the Fringe on Top.